guys, it's Ruhi, and I just thought I would do this video today because I got home from a party, a friend's birthday, and one of the main things that I discussed with everyone I met, every other person had the same question, and that question was, how's the market? How are you doing? What's happening? And it was very interesting to me because though I get this question a lot over the course of my career, tonight it was literally every single person I spoke to. And I had many conversations. And so I figured I would come home, and though it's late, I would do a recording and share with you all how the market is. And the funny thing is that there's a lot of negative news. There are all sorts of people, whether they're on YouTube or Insta or TikTok, realtors making videos saying, don't buy now. I don't know if it's clickbait or what it is, but let me tell you the cold, hard facts for the Bay Area. Number one, in the last 10 years, we have seen growth like no other time in history. We've seen just positive growth. We have not seen the recession that we were due for when COVID hit, and instead prices just continued to go up. In fact, in some areas over the last decade, we saw prices, increase by 75 to 100%. So if you purchased a house 10 years ago for $1 million, more than likely some of those houses are now 2 million plus. So, that is not normal growth. And so if the market is going down a little bit and it's going down 10%, 20%, 30%, the reality is that these homes had already gone up, a lot in the last 10 years. And just to put that in perspective, in the last 2 to 3 years, that would have been about a 50% growth. If you are seeing prices come down 20%, then trust me, the market is not crashing. We are not going to, in my opinion, experience what happened in 2008 and 2007 because lending has changed their practices. There is a lot of cash and a lot of money in the market. And yes, if you have money in the stock market and you are negative on paper or you've taken a huge loss on paper, it's just that. It's on paper. So like any other economist or financial advisor would tell you, you hold on to those stocks and wait till they go back up. But if you are in real estate and you have real estate investments, the reality is that your rent is paying your mortgage. You have interest rates that you got at historical lows. And so you are in a very good position. If you are a homeowner and you are thinking about moving up and buying something larger, then the reality is, yes, interest rates are high, but they will come down. This is probably the best time in 10 years for you to buy. You will pay a little bit more in interest, but who cares? You're getting the best deal that you would get in the last 10 years. And you're not competing with 5 or 10 buyers. You are maybe competing with 1 or 2. I have had a couple of calls on recent listings, properties that are sitting on the market for one reason or the other. And I've got buyers thinking that they're going to get some sort of a deal on them. And the reality is that sellers right now are not desperate. They are not desperate to sell because they have a very good interest rate. They usually have a very good location and they're not negative on their property. So if you think you're going to discount them by 50%, the reality is you are watching the wrong news for the wrong states because you don't know what's happening in California and the Bay Area specifically. Now, if you're a home seller and you are saying, well, Ruhi, what about us? If you are a home seller and you purchased your home in the last year, 2 years, 3 years, then I'm going to tell you to hang tight, hold your property, don't do anything, because the reality is, yes, you are probably going to not make the kind of gain that you would like, unless you are looking at moving up because you purchased a property and either it was a condo or a townhouse, you want a single family home now, yes, it's probably the right time to purchase. And if you have a low enough interest rate, I would tell you to take your current principal residence and make that your investment property, because you can do that as long as you let your mortgage broker or your mortgage company know that you are going to change it to an investment property. You can do that. And if you purchased it and you still sell it in the last 3 out of 5 years, then you can avoid doing a 1031 exchange and avoid capital gains. So again, I'm making a video, so I can't get into all the specifics, but if you're in that position, feel free to reach out to me. My contact information's below, and I can share those details with you. But the reality is that the market is a normal market. So if you're looking for a seller's market, or you're looking for a market where you're going to be able to get multiple offers, free rent back, and all sorts of those kinds of crazy things, if your house is perfect, it's turnkey, it's in the right location, then you are still getting multiple offers. But if it's not all of those, then you're not going to see that. If you've owned your property for over 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 12 years, 20 years, 30 years, then it's a great time to sell, because the reality is you are still making a great amount of money. And on the flip side, you can purchase something that will be nice. It'll be at a higher interest rate if you have to get a loan, but you will not be competing or paying crazy amounts of money over the list price to actually get the property. Now, the last thing is that if you are worried that you're not going to find the property, yes, inventory is quite low because of 2 reasons. The first reason is people are not purchasing anything because they are afraid that inventory is low and they're not going to find the replacement property, or they are at an interest rate that's crazy low and they're scared to sell because of a higher interest rate. The reality is, if you're in that position, then interest rates will come back down. You can refinance. You don't need to get into a 30-year fixed loan. The summary of this is that the market, depending on if you're a buyer or a seller, is still good. If you're a buyer, it's better. If you're a seller who's owned your property for over, 5 years, 7 years, then you're still in a very good position to get good money, especially if your property is turnkey. I hope this information was helpful. And again, like always, if you have specific questions about your real estate portfolio, you're looking at buying investment properties, now is the time. I would love to be able to help you. You can reach out to me, and bye for now.